In this video, I want to show you how to create checkpoints in your game. Specifically in our obby that we've been working on, we're going to add some spawn locations so that as the player lands on a new platform and hits that location, then if they fall off after that, they'll respawn at that last spawn location that they fell from. You'll see this in a lot of games, and what it does is it allows you to create a checkpoint so the user doesn't get frustrated that they start all the way over. Now, of course, if you're making some kind of Tower of Heck game or something, and you want to be really mean to your players, then you don't have to have checkpoints, but it's a great feature. And so what I'd like to do first, between the last video and this video, I went ahead and added more parts to my obby, and I've extended it, and basically all I did was duplicate the different parts that I already had and realigned them. If I take a top-down view, I kind of show you how this looks. And so basically what I've done is set it up so that it's a little longer and it gets a little more difficult as you go. One thing I wanted to mention that I like to do when I'm doing my development, and again, this depends on the kind of player, whether you like using the keyboard for playing the games on your computer, or if you're used to using the mobile phone or the Xbox, you can actually pair an Xbox One controller to your computer and use that in the game. So on my Mac, I can pair my Xbox One controller, and then you can also do the same on a Windows machine. So once it's paired to your computer, then when you go to run the game, it'll show up, and here I am using my Xbox One controller. In fact, I even have the in-game controls because it recognizes it, and Roblox already knows what to do for it. So let's go take a look at where I'm at on my game, where I've placed things, where I've made it a little easier in some places, a little harder in others. And again, it's always good to play test your game, get a sense for how it behaves, whether it's too easy or too difficult, and then you can make changes accordingly. Let's go ahead and stop this. So in this, I'm referencing the intro to Studio in the education.roblox.com website. And so in there, it talks about creating checkpoints, and it refers to adding the team service. And it says to go over here under model and to click services, and then it says, insert a service. The problem is there's no Teams service listed, and the reason for that is by default this template that we're using, the basic template, actually has the Teams service already added. So down here we have this folder, and this represents the Teams service. What this does is we can create multiple spawn locations in our game, and as soon as a player lands on that spawn location, they've switched teams, and now when they die, they show up on that spawn location. As they continue through the game and they hit the next spawn location, then they change teams, and then they respawn at that new location. So you need to decide in your game where you want your spawn locations, and I'm looking at these three spots right here, these little platforms that I'll create as my spawn locations. Let's go to the Explorer, and we're going to click on the teams, and we're going to click the little plus. When you hover over, you click the little plus sign, and from there we're going to click team. Now we want to rename this team, and you want to think of it as an area name. So if you've got your theme of a forest game, then you're going to say, here's the Big Valley, or here's the Giant Redwoods area, or the various names that you want to think of, and something that's related to your theme. So here I'm going to, if I click into the team, so let me do that again. So I had selected the team, and then I waited a second, and then I clicked it a second time, and now I can edit this. And so for our purposes, I'm just going to say the grass area. When we work with the spawn areas and these spawn locations, right now the way it's set up, any player can respawn at any location, and in order to fix that, you want to start and select the first spawn location, which is where the game begins, and then scroll down, and under teams we want to click neutral, uncheck neutral. What that means is right now only the players that are part of this team will be able to spawn at that location. Otherwise, if the player randomly respawns at any of these other locations that we're going to add, they could end up respawning in the wrong place. So we uncheck neutral, so now that means only the team players that are in this team, in this spawn location, will be able to respawn there. That way, as they move from one area to the next, they then respawn in that appropriate spot. So now that we've got our spawn location set up so that it won't randomly allow any team, what we want to do is associate the team, this new one, this area, this team name, with this first spawn location. And to do that, we have a reference to a team color. And the team color has to match. So if I come down, if I've selected my first spawn location, and I come down to teams, and I choose a team color, it says medium stone gray. If I come back to my teams, select my team, I now need to change that color to this one, which is medium stone gray. It doesn't matter really what the color is, it's just that they have to match. So the team, you're creating a team here, and you have a corresponding spawn location, and you're saying everybody that's in this spawn location, which is this team, they're going to be, we match them by saying the team color matches. So medium stone gray for this spawn location and medium stone gray for this team color. So now everybody that's on this team will respawn at that location. The next thing we want to do is we want to add more spawn locations to our game. To do that, let's create a new spawn location. So if I hover over the workspace and I click the plus and then I click spawn location, and we can rename that because we're going to start running into the challenge is you can also rename all of your parts. Another thing you could do is create a folder. So you could create a folder, and then you could identify all the parts in your first team, and you could click, so those are clicked and drag and move to that folder. And so I'm going to say, in this case, I'm going to say grass area parts. What this does is it allows me to organize the workspace so that it's easier to find. And you'll want to think about that as you go, because you're going to have various objects that are added, and the next thing you know, you're going to have hundreds of parts and you want to keep them grouped together. So this is one way to do that. So here I've got my grass area parts, and for this spawn location 2, let's go in. I want to press the letter F to focus in on that and then zoom out a little bit. And let's go ahead and move this over and grab that and move that over, and whoops. Notice, so now it's sitting on top of that spot. And so it's sitting on top of there just like that. And you can move this around if you want. You can change the size of the platform. You can, design it however you want. The other thing we need to do is on this spawn location, we need to change a few properties. So if we go to teams, we're going to uncheck neutral. And then notice this property right here, and I'll hover over it. It says allow team change on touch. And that's what we want. We want to change that. Now we need to change the team color because we already have medium stone gray. So go ahead and select that color. And I'm just going to go with this one, light reddish violet. Very descriptive. I like that. Okay. So now that's the team color for this spawn location. Next thing we need to do is come down here and create a new team. And so I'll hover over this and I click the little plus icon and another team. And we're going to call this the Tall Redwoods. And remember the team color we said was light reddish violet. Now in my game I'm going to select these items, hold down shift and just click and select all those. And let me create a new folder, call this Tall Redwoods Parts. Now I got to reselect those again. I'm holding the shift key and I'm clicking, clicking. And now I want to click and drag and then let go. And now those parts are under there. And then I can kind of hide this. Makes it a little easier. All right. So that's the spawn location there. Now I want to come over here and let's go ahead and select that. And again, I'm going to click my workspace, click add, and add a spawn location. And notice how it added the spawn location right there on top of it. Now I can move that, and as soon as I move it, it adjusts, and notice how it lays flat. Because this platform was off angle a little bit, when you add a part in the workspace, it's going to be flat, meaning it's not rotated or anything. But as soon as you click and drag it, then it will kind of adjust to the area around it. Now remember, the reason this is, I can move this and so that it doesn't, it kind of holds still, is because I have collisions on. All right, now let's rename this one spawn location 3. And for that, we're going to click, let's create a folder first. Let's do that. Create a folder. And let's give this a name. Let's just call it, I don't know, the Danger Zone. We'll call it Danger Zone Parts. Danger Zone Parts. And then here I'm going to select all these parts. And we're going to, let's see, do I have that top one selected? I think so. Yep, there we go. Click and drag, Danger Zone Parts. Now I need to create another team. And we're going to call this Danger Zone. All right. Now we need to select a color. So for this team color, we can select white. We'll go with that one. But then I need to go back to my spawn location. And remember, we got to go back down to where it says teams. We need to uncheck neutral, check allow team change on touch, and then change the team color to match the color of the team. And then finally, let's select this part. Let's add another, under workspace, click the plus, add another spawn location. And whoops, it was because I was focused on this one, it didn't. Let me do this and focus. There we go. Now we can kind of make sure that's lined up. Okay, spawn location 4, and we'll scroll down, and it says allow team change in neutral. Let's pick a different color. Let's just go with dirt brown. And then finally create another team. And we'll call this, click the team. And then we need to click and rename it. And we'll call this under construction or whatever you want to call it. And then finally scroll down. We're going to change the color to dirt brown. Awesome. All right, now that we've got our team location, our spawn locations and our teams set up, let's go ahead and test this and make sure we didn't break anything. So go ahead and click run. I've got my Xbox controller. Whoops. Uh-oh. I'm not clicked in. There we go. Oh, I fell. So here it tells us progress. So it automatically gives us on the side, it tells us where we are. And so let's watch for that as I go through my game. Now I'm in the tall redwoods. Uh-oh, I'm getting stuck. Let's fall. And when I respawn, hey, I'm in the tall redwoods. Perfect. So that worked. Uh-oh, that didn't work. But I'm still in the tall redwoods. And let's get over here. And now I'm in the danger zone. And notice how it updates in the chat and it updates with our leaderboard to indicate where we are. And let's get... Oh, I didn't make it. And we respawn and I'm in the danger zone. Perfect. So that's working. And did we make it? Yes, we made it. Awesome. I'm king of the world. Okay. In the next video, I'm going to show you how you can publish and play test and work with your friends to help build your games.